going on, Jerome's? So we got a couple of comments that I'm looking kind of jerked as of late, looking thicker than a Snickers THICC thick. You should see my ass. But mainly it's because, so I know that this draft class is not great for off-ball linebacker. And even though the Vikings signed Kamu and Blake Cashman outside, how about that? Asamoah's not working out. And they need someone to back up Ivan Pace Jr. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Now, first off, haven't played organized ball since high school. Secondly, I'm gonna need at least $10 million a year. I understand that's, top 12-ish in terms of off-ball money. And number three, I will not practice on Tuesdays like Kirk Cousins, and also I'm gonna have a very piss poor attitude most of the time. And also, no sprints. Other than that, I'm gonna be a great linebacker for the Vikings at age 38. Anyways, but your Minnesota Vikings are looking for their future franchise quarterback in May, Daniels, Penix, McCarthy, all that stuff. Yes, and it's funny. So yeah, we do get pushback in the comments like, "Oh, I'm sick and tired about hearing about draft content." Well, here's the thing: it is not a federal mandate to consume draft content. So don't read, don't watch, don't do anything. I don't care. Leave us draft nerds to our nerddom. It's like people say like, "Oh, I don't watch soccer. I don't." I feel like the people who don't watch soccer, half of their time is just telling people that they don't watch soccer, like it's some sort of badge of honor. Who cares? Like, I don't watch hockey. In the great state of Minnesota, do I go around to very passionate hockey fans and be like, I don't watch hockey? No, I STFU because no one cares. That's all. That's all, man. But all right, so yeah, the Vikings looking to draft their quarterback. Kwesi working the phones, gonna do some damn business, and the sweet spot of this draft is 3 and 4. Right now, it's very likely that the Commies are taking a quarterback at 2, sticking and picking, and also Caleb Williams is going to the Bears in all likelihood at 1. So 3 and 4 is where it gets dicey, because if 2 quarterbacks are off the board, that means beep bop 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 boop. 2 more of the big 4 will be left. Also, Penix just floating out there. Also, I want to see chaos. Just the Commies take Penix or Bo Nix at 2. Then let freedom reign. So now it comes down to the Patriots potentially not being so hot on whichever quarterbacks are left, and they could be open for business. And then the Cardinals are also potentially open for business as well. And this is where the draft starts, essentially, because Commies are taking a quarterback. Now, conflicting reports on if it's going to be Jaden Daniels and or Drake May, because it's so funny. Like Daniel Jeremiah, longtime NFL scout, NFL Network, he's fantastic, saying that he's heard a lot of steam that the Commies are going to take Drake May at 2, and then Todd McShay, Todd. So Todd has been dealing with some health issues the last couple of years, but he still, is one of the OG draft guys, and he's like, I haven't talked to anyone who has got the Commies taking Drake May. It's beautiful. It just shows how deep BS season is, because even the luminaries of the profession have no idea what's going on. It's fantastic, man. But so the Patriots at 3, long story longer. Diana Rossini, The Athletic. The New England Patriots are listening and taking calls from teams looking to move into 3. It's not really news. I mean, Elliot Wolf said as much in his press conference last week. While Elliot Wolf is running point, I'm told Patriots president Jonathan Kraft is heavily involved in the decision-making. I feel like the Krafts, low-key, might be the worst owners in the league. And because if you think about it, so Robert Kraft was a fan first, and then he bought the team. And then he feuded with Bill Parcells on the way out, even though they just went to a Super Bowl. And then hired Belichick eventually, got rid of Pete Carroll, then hired Belichick eventually. They won 6 Super Bowls together by luck boxing their way into the greatest quarterback of all time. And respect, Belichick is one of the best coaches of all time, if not the best. And then they feuded at the end too. So maybe at the end of the day, maybe it's the Kraft family. I don't know, man. I don't know. But also, what does it mean that Jonathan Kraft is going to be heavily involved in the decision-making? Like, what does that mean? Like, so Elliot Wolf wants to take Drake May, and ownership is like, no. We take JJ McCarthy here. I don't know, man. But Patriots potentially open for business pending on what's there on the board. Now, what's interesting is, so our guy Chad Graff and Diana Rossini, they work together on a piece. Even if the Patriots trade out number 3, they could still pursue a quarterback, potentially even by trying to trade back up for Michigan's JJ McCarthy. Now, for us Vikings fans, like if we were able to trade up, like the rest of the way, it doesn't really matter. But in both spots, if the Vikings make that trade with the Patriots and or the Cardinals, both those teams would have ammunition to move back up if they wanted to into the back end of the top 10 from 11-23 and having the Vikings future first rounder, right? So it could be a plausible situation where, say, Daniels goes to the commies and Drake May isn't the Patriots' cup of tea and they see value in trading down. So let's say that they do a deal for 11-23 and the future first rounder. So they have a ton of ammunition, and maybe again, hypothetically, McCarthy gets through 4, 5, and 6 with the Giants. So 4, 5, there isn't a team that trades up with them, and also the Chargers aren't going to trade with the Broncos and or the Raiders anyway. So then maybe at Tennessee at 7, maybe the Patriots make a move up. Maybe the Patriots move from 11 to 7, include like a third rounder and some change, and they just go from there. So it could be a spot where the Vikings get their quarterback a choice, but also the Patriots, they pick up some draft capital, but they're still able to get a quarterback that they feel fine with. It's possible. Then at 4, so Monty Ossenfort, the pride of University of Minnesota Morris, has basically said that they're open for business, and he is a wheeler and dealer for sure. Rossini again. As for the Cardinals, like last year's draft, teams looking to trade up for the number 4 pick may have to wait it out. GM Monty Ossenfort won't do a trade until they're on the clock. Why? Arizona wants to maximize the value in order to squeeze the competition for as much as possible. Now, that's that gangster University of Minnesota Morris economics degree talking. It's like, we shall strangle our opponents. And Ossenfort, as evidenced last year with the Texans' Will Anderson trade, is very open to wheeling and dealing. Now, what's interesting is that, so I had a thought that maybe there's something in the place between the Vikings and the Cardinals, and they have to wait till they're on the clock based on what's on the board. And Josh Norris over at Underdog put together basically what I'm thinking in this situation. A tweet I'm not responsible for. What if the Vikings and Cardinals already have the parameters of a deal in place for 4 that won't be completed until Arizona's on the clock because the Vikings are still pushing to get a deal done at number 3 for Drake May? And I think that is very plausible and also probably what's likely. Now, a lot of people are talking about the Giants moving up, but I feel like the Giants, even though they're at 6, they don't have as much to offer as the Vikings because the Vikings having 2 first-round picks this year, that's valuable. And if a team moves down, they would have the ammunition to move back up, or they can stick and pick, and that's a ton of value right there, and also having that future first-rounder. Now, the Giants can just be like, all the future first-rounders, because if this doesn't work out, we're going to get fired anyway. Sure. But also, it's a spot where the Broncos and the Raiders, they just simply don't have the ammunition to compete with the Vikings in a trade-up this year. So it would be very plausible that the Vikings and the Cardinals may have something worked out if the board breaks right, and the Vikings are still probably working on the Patriots, and also it's a spot where the board has to break right for them. So this is all like contingent on what happens with the commies at 2. And like I said, I think the draft truly starts with the Patriots at 3 because, say the commies go with Jaden Daniels, and maybe Jaden Daniels was number 1 on the Patriots board, and then they trade out. Or let's say that the Commanders go with Drake May, and Jaden Daniels still number 1 on the Patriots board. They stick and pick, and then that alters the Vikings' plans because maybe they go to Plan B, which could potentially be a trade up with the Cardinals. And again, like I said, I understand why people are sort of fatigued by this. All the speculation, all the innuendo, all the theoretical stuff. I don't care. Like, this stuff is fascinating to me. I don't know. Like, so I've said I started this channel because I want to do content that wasn't out there, basically selfishly for me. I feel like Drago at the end of Rocky 4. I fight for me. I do all this draft nonsense for me. Honestly, if 2 people watch this video and they're both Sylvie, like, I would still do it because this is like nerdy ish I would be talking about with my boys anyway. So that's it, man. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. The Vikings 3, 4, get your woman on the floor. Gonna get up to get down. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.